All right, guys, welcome to the Digital Barbell Podcast. As always, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for subscribing and supporting our podcast. It means so much to us. We've got a great episode today. We're going to be talking about step counters, introduce a little bit of controversy and conflict that's going on between Blakley and I as we're embarking on this 30-day step challenge. We're going to talk about how to get better at push-ups. And we got a great question from a client that we're going to parlay it into a discussion about if you have some extra money laying around.
$2,000 to be exact.
What should you invest in for your gym? You already have kind of the basics, but
Yeah.
you want to take it to the next level.
question.
What should you buy? Quick podcast sponsor today before we get into the topic. We're sponsored by Warby Parker.
I was like literally going to say the same thing.
If you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify, you'll notice that it looks like we're twinning in these clear frame glasses. I don't know. I just default to these clear frame ones. I have black and clear, but Blakley's nerding out in her glasses over here. She went to the eye doctor yesterday, and
I was told no contacts for the foreseeable future until I get a clear. I got some issue in my eye, and it's been bugging me. And I was thinking, like, I don't even know. I think basically I got construction debris, specifically paint in my eye, got under my contact, created a little situation.
Yeah.
And now I'm on like a steroid drop until that clears up. So no contacts. We just started like this running a mile a day, and day one I think I ran in my contacts.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like the last 2 days I've had to run blind, honestly. Like I'm like, I can't wear these glasses and they're bouncing all around, and it is, yeah, it's been tough, honestly. Like daily life is fine, but working out with the glasses on is hard, and then working out without any glasses or like, good vision is hard. So I think that's the hardest part about it.
you're adapting.
I'm adapting, and I kept going. I'm like, okay, I'm just
I bet a
gonna
few more
run
days
without
and you're going
glasses
to want to
on.
be putting those contacts back in. Your eye will be
I'm
feeling
going to be
normal.
wanting to put on. No, he said, do not put contacts in until I see. I am not following the rules. I've been
You are a rule
struggling with
follower.
this for a while. I'm going to
do it right.
I'm gonna
It's kind of
do it
funny. One of
right.
my clients is actually struggling with an eye problem right now, and he was working out in his glasses today. He's like, this just felt weird, especially.
It does feel weird if you're used to not wearing glasses when you work out, but being able to see what you see with your contacts in, it feels very weird to work out without glasses on. Yeah.
It's
I don't like
awkward.
it. I don't like it.
Let's see. I wanted to, welcome to the new clients who are starting today. That we kicked off our, what do we call our summer strength challenge kicked off this week. So welcome to the new people who joined in to train with us. We run these promotions every once in a while, but they're really just tricks to get you to jump in to work with us. But the truth is, like, you can work with us at any time. Assuming we're a good match and we think we can help you, you can apply for coaching to do training with us or do one-on-one nutrition coaching.
I wouldn't say they're
at any
tricks.
time.
They're a deal. Like,
You know what I mean. It's like an enticing offer. I mean, we give a big discount to
Yeah.
join, but if the timing wasn't right for you and you're like, I'm not sure when I'll be able to join again, you can talk to us at any time. Reach out. We have 3 levels of workout programming that you can work with us on. You can either just get workouts if you're a self-starter who already knows what they're doing. You can get our workouts that Blakley writes and have us actually coach you on the back end through our app. Not like a Zoom meeting where we're meeting with you
Right.
every day, but we check your form and make sure you do everything right. And then we can take it to the next level and do a custom workout program for you based on our training method, where we talk to you about your equipment, your goal, your schedules, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We customize our workouts to you, and then we coach you on the back end also. So if you want to know more about that, I'll put a link to our program options in the description below. I got a great quote from a client that I've been working with for a few months right now. He actually found us through a blog article that I wrote back in like 2021 or 2022. We went back and forth through email with some questions that he had, got on the phone, he joined, and he's just been great. He's super consistent. He works really hard. He asks questions. It's been just a great experience. He's kind of in the camp where he needs to lose a little bit of body fat while getting stronger. And then when he gets down to a certain level of leanness, we're going to work on really building muscle. He's going to increase his calories and that kind of stuff. But I got this comment from him. I think it brought a tear to my eye when I read it. So if you're listening to this, I won't say your name, but I appreciate it. He said, "Thank you so much for everything so far. This is the most consistent that I've ever been, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to finish this cut." He's talking about losing fat right now. For once and all, and then actually working to gain some real muscle afterwards. It's just been the best so far, and I'm so thankful that we started working together. So thank you, and I hope you have a good weekend. I was like, I think I read that on a Friday, and I was like, let's go. Like, give me 5 more clients like this. I'll be a happy camper. Appreciate a hard work ethic. Appreciate people who are coachable. And I mean, there's no other way to say it other than like, if you trust us enough to like follow what we tell you to do, it's guaranteed that you're going to get results. Like, I don't mean to brag, but we know what we're doing. And if you just trust the process, it's going to work.
That's the key. Trust the process.
Yeah. Yeah. Just trust the process. Just like communicate with us. Tell us when you're having questions or problems. And we're committed to helping you get results. We just, you just got to take the first step and stick with it. Okay. So I'm wearing my,
let's just hold up our hand about like, where do we wear our watch? Okay. Let's notice that I'm holding up my left hand. Jonathan is holding up his right hand, but we're both right-handed.
Okay.
So I think that's the first step in this watch controversy.
So the reason this came about is because we're doing a step challenge with our clients, trying to hit 70,000 steps per day, and we monitor our steps. Sorry, per day. That would take a long time. But we've monitored our steps for a long time, and we've had this discussion for many years. But anyway, that's why it's top of mind right now.
And also, I will add, it's been with many different watches. I've always worn an Apple Watch or a Garmin watch. He has gone between Apple Watches, Garmin watches, and now an Amazon watch.
Right.
So it's not like, it's always been a controversy, and it's not based on the particular watches that we wear.
Most of the controversy is really rooted not in watches or arms. It's in Blakley's competitiveness and how she has to beat me at everything. But I digress. Okay, so I am right-handed and I wear my watch on my right arm for a very important reason. Back when I was a wee little kid, my friend that taught me how to put on a watch was left-handed, and he taught me how to put my watch on my right hand, and I've never switched.
Exactly.
In 48 years.
So you can just take the moment right now and switch it and then start to be accurate. The issue is that like, we have a lot of the same schedule, especially when we were living full time in the camper. We were in there or we were out doing something, and like our steps were.
You couldn't get away from me.
Really far apart. I like the step count at the end of the day. He was always like way ahead of me, and then now in particular, as he's like doing stuff like painting, sanding, working on the house, his step is out of control, and I will be out there mowing the lawn and like doing like actual active stuff. And his step count is just like 17,000, and I'm at like 8, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
The competitive side.
You've been inside all day painting with your right hand, and so I've always been under the assumption that we even had this discussion with one of our friends who's like super smart engineer. I'm like, okay, which one? Who's right here? But anyway, like. My theory is that he wears his hand on his right hand when you're dominant hand, you do more things with it. And so like you're going to get more activity.
It's a step hack. I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit of a step hack.
Yeah.
Step in air quotes on that.
Exactly.
But like the bigger topic is like all these things that measure your activity and stuff. It's not that important to get fixated on the accuracy of them.
Well, speaking of accuracy, one more thing is today we went for our mile run. My watch beeps. I went at 1 mile. He's like, my watch says I did 1.22 miles. I was like, your watch is so off.
Problem was we were together. But anyway, yeah, I mean, which is kind of weird because that uses GPS, and it's not usually off like that, so I don't know what was up with that. That was a fluke. But yeah, I think that the point is like that we want to drive home is try not to get fixated on the accuracy of these things that are tracking activity, calorie burn, sleep, all that kind of stuff, because, I mean, they've done studies on how accurate these fitness trackers are. They're pretty good for just normal walking and for jogging because they can sense when you really are stepping. But the research shows that the accuracy really dies down when it comes to daily activity, like we're talking about cooking, stirring eggs, walking around really slowly, just doing your job, using a keyboard, driving. All those things could potentially count as steps. But if we zoom away from that accuracy and we just look at the trend of how many steps does it say you're getting, whether it's accurate or not, it starts to show you if there's been a decline in your activity. Yeah. Now, if you're getting a really low number and you are wearing it for your daily activity, I'm talking like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 steps per day, that's a good sign that you're living a pretty sedentary life because you're getting the benefit of all those fake steps along with any activity that you are getting. So if you have really low steps, regardless of accuracy, try to drive them up higher for the increased benefits to your health and all the other things that are great from walking. Right. And then like zoom out from the daily number and look at the weekly average and make sure that that number is about where you want it to be based on your goals. And if you're trying to do better with your health and fitness, try to creep that average up. over time.
I will say the accuracy of this that you just made me think about. I trust this Apple Watch for accuracy. We went last time we were in Houston. We went on like I think a 4-mile run with our friend Carlos, and we're running through all these trails. And at one point we got onto like a track, and we had been running on trails. Literally, I took 1 foot step on this track, and my watch beeped, and it's like it looks like you're on a track. What lane are you in?
Yeah.
And I was telling Carlos afterwards, I was just like, dang, that watch like knew exactly that I had been on a track, probably using GPS and stuff like that, knew where we were. But I'm just saying the accuracy kind of proved itself to me on that moment, because I was like, dang, it knew exactly where I was.
Yeah, my watch had said I already ran 10 miles.
Yeah. It was like, what a PR, Jonathan.
Not true.
You are awesome.
So anyway, if you're one of our clients or one of the people that jumped in on the step challenge.
And you see Jonathan's numbers, just, don't even worry about it if it looks like he's getting a lot of steps.
Well, where are you at so far today? It's 4:00.
8,017.
All right, you're ahead of me. I'm at 78 something or other.
But I also mowed the lawn.
But I have done zero painting or sanding or anything other than work today and work out. So I think we're pretty close. We're pretty close. But after we finish recording this, I'll go hit some sanding to make sure I hit my 10,000 for the day. I will say we've had to be intentional about hitting the number, or I have at least. Like it's easy. Yeah. It's really easy to have a low
Last
step
night
count.
I was 500 short, and I stood like we were like about to watch a show, and I got up and stood behind the couch and just like marched in place. Like I don't like have any hesitation doing something like that, because I'm like, I want to get the 10,000, and it's movement. It's going to count. I mean, I definitely prefer it to be like
out in nature,
active and things like that. But if I'm running that close, I will definitely just give it some march in place, walk around the house a little bit to get those last few steps in.
Y'all should have seen her in the camper when we were living in the Airstream, right there in the hallway.
Yeah. That's
why doing laps up and down the hallway.
I purchased a stepper, an in-place stepper from Walmart. I think it was great. You could just set it in the camper or set it outside the camper and just go like this, because if there was a reason, for some reason you couldn't get out of your space. That's all we had,
That thing will get your buns burning too. Work up a sweat. Okay, so you've been getting some comments lately from clients about their push-up game. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, I think I just love hearing that people get so excited about their ability to do more push-ups, and thinking oh my gosh, I didn't really know that I was going to ever be able to do this many push-ups, or I've never been able to do X number of push-ups in a row before.
Or do push-ups not on your knees.
Yeah, and I just think it's awesome, and I love hearing that. And if you've always kind of been on the fence about our training, that is one thing that we do is I have, we have a dedicated general warm up to get you warm before you start your exercises of the day. And in that warm up, I do put a lot of intentional movements in there. So you're going to do lunges, you're going to do push-ups, you're going to do sit-ups, you're going to do pull-ups if you have availability for a pull-up, or you're going to do a substitute or something like that.
Yeah, a scaled down version of a pull-up.
You're going to do some stretching, some things like that. And in that little section, it's usually 2 or 3 rounds. You can accumulate several reps, and it's very intentional and good volume, to have built in during your weeks. And I think that alone is where a lot of people are getting these benefits. And in addition to what we do in the workouts.
Yeah, they don't even know they're doing something that's going to improve their push-ups. They're just doing their workouts and their warm-ups.
Just kind of getting warm. And usually in your warm-up, your mindset is just okay, let me go through this. You're not kind of, mentally in it yet, I think, a lot of times. And it's cool that these times when we're just getting our body warm, we are developing all of this extra volume.
And skill too. Practice doing the movement. You get better at doing push-ups by doing push-ups, not just because of the strength gain, because your technique gets better. You become more efficient at using the muscles. All that kind of stuff.
And doing a general warm-up before so say your first movement of the day is a strict press, or it's a dumbbell row, or whatever it is, or it's just a conditioning element, whatever it is. But doing a general warm-up where it's 3 rounds of 10 air squats, 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, and then a couch stretch is a great way to just get your body warm, get your heart rate up a little bit, get blood flowing, and keep you injury free and moving better once you get to those other components of your workout. I mean, sometimes people will ask me is it normal for my last few sets to feel better than my first few sets? And I'm absolutely, because if you haven't really done do your warm-ups, and that kind of feeling will go away. Because if you're feeling like, oh wait, I'm not like totally warm yet, you will, your body needs to get warm and acclimated to the movement that you're doing.
Yeah.
So like even if you're doing dumbbell rows, that's why I'll have people do 1 or 2 sets at a lighter weight, so that those working sets aren't wasted volume.
Yep. Don't skip your warm-ups is what she's trying to say. So what about somebody who's like, man, that sounds good. Like I can do a push-up, or I can do a push-up, but I'm on my knees. Like any practical tips for somebody who wants to step up their push-up game a little bit?
I mean, first of all, just do more push-ups throughout your week. If you work out 3 times a week, every time you work out, do like 3 sets of push-ups, 3 hard sets. And then if like getting to 10 push-ups sounds like overwhelming, do 3 hard sets where you're like, okay, I can do like 3 to 4 push-ups, even if that's on your knees right now. And then once that becomes easier, force yourself to hit a number. Like I'm going to do 3 sets of 10. And 3 sets of 10 doesn't have to be 10 push-ups in a row with no break. And I think that's where some people get confused. It can be 3 push-ups, shake your arms out real quick. And I'm talking just like a few seconds. 3 more push-ups, shake your arms out real quick. 2 push-ups, shake your arms out. And that's how you can accumulate up to that 10 rep or 15 rep, whatever it is that you're going for.
And a quick refresher on, you said do like 3 hard sets of push-ups. Refresh everybody's memory on what it means to do a hard set.
A hard set is something where your form hasn't broken down. So do a set of push-ups until like form is like the next rep is gonna. I want to push up.
You're about done.
On a push up, you'll know that you're about done. Like you almost can't push yourself up, or you're starting to excessively worm, meaning like your shoulders come up off the ground, and then your pelvis is still laying on the ground, and then your butt comes up. So once you start quote warming up, then you know it's time to take a break.
What's that yoga pose where your hands are on the ground and it's like that cobra or something like that? If you're looking like that, you've done enough. Like that set is done. I think that's a great point. Like you can do these little chopped up sets to get to the total number of sets reps you were aiming for in that set. It's like if it says 3 sets of 10 or a set of 10, if you have to break it up to get to that 10, that's totally fine. And you'll see that as you continue to do that, the number of sets you have to break it down into will continue to shrink until you really can do 10 in a row.
Yeah.
What if somebody can't even do a single push-up from their knee? Where should they start?
Yeah, so you can start with
from their toes.
From their toes. Knee push-ups is a great way to start, and if that's still challenging, you can do an elevated push-up. Although those are still very challenging. You can do a push-up against a wall as like a level 1. You can get on your knees and do a push-up against like a bench as a level 2, and then eventually graduate to like where you can do a push-up where your knees are staying on the ground and you're just pushing your body up. And all these movements, you're going to want to keep your elbows pointing more towards your feet than out to each side. I think the common, like even like, it makes me so mad, but even like Rocky does his push-ups, Rocky Balboa I'm talking about.
Oh, we know.
with his elbows out in these like half reps. So you want to keep those elbows in, pointing toward your toes, not completely by your side, but about 45 degrees out. And that will just help you feel so much stronger and keeps your shoulders happier.
Yeah, a quick way to get grumpy shoulders is to do them with them completely out to the side like that.
It really pushes that pressure on your shoulders.
Yeah. Well, those are all really good tips.
I would say the last thing about the range of motion on that push-up is chest to deck.
That's right, yeah.
So we want to go all the way down to where we're laying we could actually take our hands out off the floor. That's how close to the floor that we want to be every rep that we do. I still remember my first time going to a CrossFit class when we started back going in Tennessee, CrossFit Middle Tennessee, and I did my little set of push-ups day 1, and he's like, okay, I want you to go to the ground, take your hands up, and then do them. And I thought it was like some sort of like punishment or something. I'm like, oh, this guy's strict. And then I asked him, like, how long do I do push-ups like this where I have to go all the way to the floor? And he's like, forever. That's the range of motion of a push-up.
You don't always have to let your hands off, but as if you could.
Yeah, as if you could. And, and it was, that always just like stuck with me. It's like,
and why do we do it like that? Because strength is gained in the range of motion that is trained. We want to be able to push ourselves up off the ground. So we would train with our body all the way on the ground.
So last summer when we were traveling full-time, it was we were working out at like a lot of YMCAs. And so anyway, I was kind of creating these little challenges for myself. So one of the challenges I did was, for the first time, I was like, I'm going to do 100 push-ups every time we're in the gym. And I felt like I saw a lot of like upper body gains from doing that, and I enjoyed doing that. But at that time, I would do it always at the end of my workout, and I felt like getting to 100 push-ups, it was time consuming, and my quality of push-ups was like, I was really, really having to chop them up as I got toward the end. I did like really improve the way I could do push-ups. Like I could do like 20 to 25 push-ups in a row toward the end of that summer. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. So now I've been continuing to do that, but I'll do 50 push-ups in the beginning of our workout. So as my warm-up, but I'll do a set of 15 and then like whatever else is in the warm-up, like air squats or something, then another set of 15, then a set of 10, then a set of 10. And it's pretty easy to do.
Let me get my calculator out.
That's 30, 40, 50. And then after the workout's done, if there's no push-ups in that workout, then I'll just do another set of 50 kind of in the same rep ranges. And so it's not like as overwhelming as it sounds to do 100 push-ups. They feel more all high
quality that way.
They feel all high quality, and it doesn't feel like an overwhelming like thing to do. You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh my gosh, I'm faced with 100 push-ups right now.
Yeah. That's interesting. And you were sick this year when Murph came about.
I know.
So you didn't get to test your push-up gains.
I feel like I get sick like a cold one time a year, and it's usually around Murph. There's been so many times when I'm on Memorial Day that I am missing.
Well, what about this? Like now that you're feeling better, and we're doing this run a mile every day for 30 days challenge, why don't you just do Murph one of the days, and that will be one of those. 2 miles. I know, but one of those miles will count towards your mile.
Maybe. How about after we finish this mile a day thing? Like then I'll
that's a good
test
idea.
My mile.
And you keep doing the push-ups too.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a question from a client. He sold a piece of workout equipment that he wasn't using, a big like universal machine down in his basement. He got $2,000 for the thing, and he asked me like, what else do I need? Did I already say how old this guy is? He's in his 60s. He's killing it. We've been working together for 4 years now. Anyway, he just said like, you know what I've got? Like, what else can I benefit from? I'll use some of this $2,000 to buy some new equipment. But I don't think it would help you guys for me to tell you specifically what I told him to get.
Right.
But it made us think about, if you've got some money laying around, like willing to invest in your home gym, maybe you invested in Bitcoin a couple of years ago and you want to burn some of that off, what should you buy for your home gym?
Yeah, I think it's a great question.
So we're going to talk about some kind of like scenarios of maybe where you're at now and give you some advice moving forward. Most of our clients that work out at home, I can't say most. A lot of them have amazing full home gyms that are just like awesome. I'll be like, I'll come over and work out anytime. And then some people have very minimal equipment, like a pair of adjustable dumbbells, some bands, a bench. So depending where you're at, depends what you should buy. But let's just say like you have some dumbbells and some bands, you're getting some good workouts in. You should probably make sure like you have a full set of dumbbells.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't have adjustable ones that go from 5 to 50. Maybe you started with a pair of 5s, 10s, 15s, and that's all you have right now. What money well spent would be to go ahead and round out your collection there. If you already have like individual dumbbells, I'd probably stick with that versus spending the money on an adjustable set. And
if you have the space. Right?
Yeah. Like having a rack makes a big difference for dumbbells. You can buy a cheap dumbbell rack on Amazon for $30, $40, and it gets them going vertically in your storage space instead of spread out all over the floor, taking up a whole bunch of room. Or if you're handy, you can make something out of like a 2x12 for less than $10.
So for men, I would say like, and we're not talking about having to have every 5 pound increment, but not having big gaps in your dumbbells. Like don't go from 30 to 50. Yeah. Things like that. Like maybe a 30, a 40 and a 50, or something like a 30, 35, 40 and a 50, things like that. So for men, I would say, depending on how strong you are, from topping out either 50 or 70 pounds on the dumbbell range that you have. So starting from small ones all the way up to either 50 or 70 pounds. And if it's just ladies working out at home, I would say, again, depending on how strong you are, like having like from the small weights up to like 35 up to 50 pounds, and kind of everything in between. Yeah. And like I said, not literally every single weight, but you definitely want like the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and then 40, 50. But I would, something like that.
I would say too, like, if you're talking about getting to those really heavy weights, maybe there's not very many exercises where you're going to use a pair of the heavy weights. Like you're probably not going to be strict pressing the 65s or the 70s
Yeah, that's true.
if you're a guy. Or maybe you could be bench pressing them. But
Yeah.
even if you don't have the money right now, you could get a single one, and then we can do like staggered stance RDLs with one dumbbell. We can do
Dumbbell
goblet squats. We
rows.
can right. So the heavy ones are where they start getting more expensive.
Yeah.
So we could ease into having a pair and still do a lot with
Ease
one
into having
single.
just having one single
Yeah.
65, one single 70.
Yeah, I would say for lighter dumbbells, there's probably no reason to do that. Like it's going to
Right.
be a hindrance if you only have one 25-pound dumbbell. So anyway, that's one thing to think about with that. And again, this is for somebody who already has a decent amount of dumbbells, but they're limited.
I feel like we
in
went
their
on that
strength.
for a little bit long. So basically we're saying complete your set
Right.
is like kind of phase 1. And then phase 2 would be, if you're still just having dumbbells, maybe phase 2 would be to invest in barbells, or the same thing. If you already have barbells and some plates, invest in completing your set, making sure you have enough plates and things like that to complete your set there.
I was thinking about this client specifically that asked me the question. The weights he has now, that he tops out at 40 pounds on his dumbbells. But, and I don't think that we're going to be moving to like barbell squats necessarily with him. He does really good with dumbbell front squats. But I could see him being able to build some strength up on a barbell deadlift. So if you're somebody like that who has interest in barbell, you could move to a barbell and some plates. I know you probably have a different opinion on this. Before you buy the rack, knowing that you're only going to be able to do things like curls and deadlifts, maybe a few other accessory exercises.
And that's fine as long as you have that awareness of that, like, I'm probably not going to bench press this barbell because that's very dangerous. I'm not going to back squat this because I'm not going to get it over my head and on my back. That's also dangerous. But I'm going to strictly use it for deadlifts. I might use it for curls. I might use it for like higher volume
Shoulder
pressing and things like that. But I'm not going to be doing some other things that are unsafe without a rack.
Yeah, so you can kind of dip your toe in the barbell world, knowing that your exercises are going to be limited.
So some things that people might not have on hand that they might want to complete the set with is to getting these micro plates. So
they're called fractional plates.
So where like you don't have to add 2.5. So on a barbell, the lowest weight is usually a 2.5. So you can go up in 5-pound increments. You can basically presses and bench presses is where you need this more often.
Or curls.
Yeah, you don't have to go up at 5 pounds at a time. You can even go up in 1 pound at a time.
Yeah,
adding half a pound on each side. And it seems silly, but it is actually really useful. If you've been stuck at an 80-pound press and you can get an 81-pound press, you're like, oh my gosh, thank you, I added a pound. And then you can go 81, 82, 84, and eventually get to that next weight. And it's
it gives you a way to continue to take advantage of progressive overload. And your body doesn't know, oh man, that was only 2 pounds heavier. It just knows it was harder.
It was harder, yeah.
And the fact that it was harder is the thing that keeps your progress
And it's a
going.
mental victory to be able to, add
Totally.
weight too. Yeah.
So we can put a link to the fractional plates that we usually recommend to people in the description of this episode. I mean, you can go as crazy as going down to a 1/4 pound per plate, all the way up to like 1.5 pounds per plate. But you don't need to go nuts and like have the entire set.
Right, just a few of them.
And they also make these in a kind that kind of opens up like a clamshell that you can clamp onto the handle of your dumbbells too. Because it's pretty rare, unless you have adjustable dumbbells, that they go up in any smaller increment than 5 pounds.
Yeah.
Which on a single arm overhead press, I mean, you might not be able to make a 5-pound jump for quite a while.
Honestly, they're really useful. I have a client that has them too, and for the dumbbells, and I was like, that is so useful. Think about like bench pressing in your, you've got like 2 30s in your hand, and you're just like, okay, my next weight is adding 10 pounds because it's a 35 in each hand. So that's adding a total of 10 pounds. And so when you kind of get stalled out on your dumbbells, these come in handy. I've never personally used them, and so I don't know like how secure it feels, but I actually asked her and she said it was secure.
And I guess really you could use those on a barbell too. You would just have to clamp them inside the collars around the actual barbell and not slide them onto the sleeve. I don't know, I'll have to check that out.
All right.
But yes, that's a great tip. Another thing is if you don't have any like high quality bands, you're still just using TheraBands or one that came in like a set from a physical therapist or whatever, getting some decent bands that you can use for real live exercises too We like the crossover symmetry ones. We've dabbled with some of the off-brand ones and didn't have a lot of success with those lasting.
Crossover symmetry, number one, they last a really long time, and they also stand behind their product. They've replaced bands, like back when I owned the gym and they would snap, they would replace them and they were years old, and I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, so you can look up what crossover symmetry is, but basically
it's really a shoulder rehab protocol.
Yeah.
That's what their whole branding is centered around.
Yeah.
But they make high quality bands.
They make very high quality bands, and these are the bands with the handles. If
Yeah.
I'm not being clear what that is.
Yeah. They look like a hair tie, kind of like whatever you call that stuff.
People usually know like what the handle bands are versus the elastic bands.
But yeah, like you can do so much more than rehab with these things, though.
Yeah.
You can do the curls where you have your arm extended out behind you. You can make them really challenging to do face pulls, a lot of things. So if you don't have some high quality bands and you want to spend a little money.
Speaking of all these bands, this made me think of something. This is a cheap thing to add to your arsenal, but I think it is very useful. Is depending on where you work out, a place to anchor your bands that is secure.
Yes.
I've had so many people ask me, like, is this secure? Is this the place to anchor my band? And usually the answer is no. Like that sounds shady. But number one, like if you have squat racks and things like that, adding like little eye hooks and things like that to where you can anchor bands is secure. Or if you work out at home or anything like that, that we, in our Amazon store, and you can link that in the description, we have a thing made by TheraBand that is like you close the door on part of it and then it allows you to securely loop the bands through it. So as long as you have a securely closing door
And nobody else is home.
or you can lock it, then you can like do significant like face pulls and band pull downs and things like that and not feel like your band is about to pop off of something. Because we have heard bad stories about bands popping off of something because it was not secure and like hitting people in the face.
Yeah.
No one wants that.
Even when the band is securely attached to something, I still do most exercises with my eyes closed.
Yeah, because bands
just to
break.
be safe.
Right.
That's great advice.
But those are super cheap. Those are like less than $10. So that's
the attaching things.
The TheraBand little door anchor. I think it's like $8.50. It used to be.
Yeah, or just go to Home Depot or Ace Hardware and kind of look and see like, okay, what can be screwed into a stud on my wall that has a loop or a hole in it, like an eyelet that you can just feed a band through.
Yeah. All right. What else?
Okay, next thing is get a real pulley machine. Whether you want to like really pony up some money and you got all kinds of floor space and you get a plate loaded high-low pulley machine that you sit on and you stack plates on. We used to have one of those. Awesome. They take up a lot of floor space.
Yeah, it takes up a ton of floor space though.
I think you can get a plate loaded one for under $1,000. I know that it was less than that when we bought it.
And plate load. So when you go to the gyms and they have like the weight stacks and things like that, we're talking about like these are ones that you actually load your own plates on. So if you already have a barbell set and you already have tons of plates, these are the way to go because you just like load on your 25s, load on your 10s or whatever you need, and you don't have to worry about getting the expensive ones with those plate stacks because you already have the weight.
I mean, the plate loaded. I mean, the ones with the stack and the pin, they're nicer. They're more convenient, but they're way more expensive also. We're always thinking of your pocketbook here.
Yeah, so we did sell that one of the times that we moved because they do take up a large amount of space. And now we have something called the bullet pulley. So if you have limited space, but you have like a squat rack, they have these ways to make your squat rack into a pulley machine in almost the same way. Like we can do a lot of exercises that we used to be able to do on that pulley machine, like pull downs with like we have a straight bar attachment, we have a rope attachment, we have like the narrow grip attachment. I would say anything that comes up from the high pulley is great, like the face pulls and all that stuff.
Tricep push downs.
The things that come from the low pulley are a little bit challenging just because like there's no like counterbalance in your weight. Like if you do like a seated row, there's nothing to like push off against.
You have to get creative with where you put your feet.
And then sometimes you like outweigh the pulley or the pulley outweighs you and it just basically like lifts you off the ground. And so
I struggle with that with like lat pull downs or whatever.
Like,
I can lat pull down more than my body weight. So I have to find a way to like weight my lap down to do it.
Which is a little dangerous. But I would say overall it is if you have nothing and you just are using the bands and you're like, I know that there's some gains to be made doing like some stronger band push downs, some stronger face pulls. The bullet pulleys are very cheap, compared to like a giant pulley machine.
Yep.
And space saving. Like ours is just like we have the pulley system set up all the time, and we just like kind of push it to the side when we're using the squat rack, and then like pull it back out when we're ready to use it, and it's cool.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, let's get to another fairly expensive one. But a lot of our clients, well, I don't forget our clients, just we all live in places where there's certain times of the year where you don't want to get out and run.
Yeah, whether
you can't because it's too
hot
hot or it's raining or
cold.
snowing or whatever. So that makes it challenging unless you go to a commercial gym sometimes to get your like steady state cardio in, not like higher intensity CrossFit type workouts, but going out for a 30-minute jog or whatever.
But no, they're great for like a Metcon too, where it's
that's true.
Run 200 meters and then do these 3 movements.
Very convenient.
It's very convenient to have that in your garage space. So we're talking about investing in a piece of cardio equipment.
That's right. So this could look like a rower, a ski erg, a treadmill, a stair stepper, a bike.
Probably not a stair stepper.
Why not?
I mean,
you would
I
love
would love to have a
stair
stair stepper, but you're not going to do a stair stepper in the middle of a Metcon.
Well, no, but you could do your steady state on one.
Yeah, but I agree. Like our walking pad just bit the dust that we've had for many years.
I'm still going to try to fix it.
But it's a little scary now because it's kind of gone off while, like the other day, it was day one of our run a mile. I go out there, I was actually videoing it. I go out there, I'm like, I'm going to start my mile, here I go. And the thing just like stopped after the first 20 seconds. And I like flew and I like caught myself, but it's terrifying. It's like,
well, yeah, I thought I fixed it after that happened to you. So I was testing it out and the same thing happened to me.
You were just walking too though.
Yeah.
Like, man, it's very dangerous. So,
but anyway, like a good tip for these cardio equipment is like look for a used one.
Yeah.
They depreciate quite a bit. There's tons of treadmills out there on Facebook Marketplace that are being used as clothes hangers.
I was going to say, I've already decided what I want for our next piece of equipment is I want a true form runner. This is like basically like a treadmill with no power, no motor. It just
you're the motor.
You're the motor, and I've used them at gyms, and they're tougher, but honestly,
it's hard to regulate your speed on them, I found.
After having these treadmills that just stop on me, I might be like that'd be the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't ever see those pop up used.
Yeah.
You might have to like reach out to a gym or something, but I wouldn't mind having one for sure. They're definitely a totally different stimulus than an electric treadmill with a belt.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
You have to basically like pull the tread down with your foot.
All the hamstrings and calves and Achilles and all that fun stuff. Mm-hmm. Did you have anything else, or was that pretty much the list?
I would love a stair stepper one day, like just to have in the gym.
They're massive.
I can't. Yeah, we would need a bigger space than we currently have. But,
Any other equipment you'd recommend outside of a cardio machine that we should have touched on?
Yeah, some sort of, I do still think the walking pads or smaller treadmills are good. So I would, first case, I would have something like that.
Yeah.
And then I would go for a rower or a bike if you already have the treadmill, personally.
I mean, the walking pad was $250 and it served us for 4 years, using it almost every day. So even if I can't get it fixed, I'd say we got our money's worth out of that.
And it's been stored outside. It's been in storage. It's gone through a lot.
That's true. All right. Anything else you want to bring up? Or are we good?
I think we're good.
All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're interested in having us build you a custom workout program or working with you one-on-one on your nutrition, I'll put a link to where you can apply for coaching in the description of this episode. Have a great day.